Hey people, so today we are going to discuss LeetCode problem, convert binary number in a linked list to its integer. So essentially what we are given is a linked list containing of either zeros or ones, as you can see in this representation, and we have to convert this entire linked list into a decimal value, which is 5 in this case. Since this one value would be multiplied with 2 power 2, and which would be sum to the multiplication of 0 and 2 power 1, and which is also will be sum to 1 into this one into 2 power 0, right? So this is all the problem is about. So how we can convert this linked list into the decimal value. So my initial solution was to why not we convert this linked list, entire linked list into binary format first, and then we have to convert it into decimal format. So this was my initial approach, but then I figured out that okay, we can completely remove this uh, step if we get the length of this linked list. Okay, how is that possible? So what is essentially binary representation? So if we have 1 0 and 1, so let me change the color. So I'm using the green color now. So 101, the last the most significant bit would be multiplied with 2 power 0, right? And then one next to it would be multiplied with 2 power 1, and so on, right? And this one would be multiplied with 2 power 2, and all these values are summed up, right? So to get this, we just need the length of the linked list, right? So if we get the length of the linked list, which is 3 in this case, the least significant bit would be taking length minus 1 power, right, which is 2 in this case, if you can see, right? So that's when I felt like okay, get the length of the linked list first, and again iterate through the entire linked list, so that you can multiply 2 to the power of current power with its corresponding values, which is the node values in this linked list, right? So that was my idea, and that's how I did it. So what I have done was get the length of linked list, and in the next stage convert it into decimal format. So this was the whole idea, and how I did it, let me show it to you with a code. So if you can see here, I have taken a variable power which will represent the current power that I have in the current node, and decimal value is the final result that I want to store so that I can send it back, return it, and temp is a variable that I'm using to traverse through the linked list. Okay, so in this iteration what I am doing is I'm trying to iterate through the entire linked list, and I'm trying to find the length of it. Okay, so I'm just iterating and I'm increasing the power will represent the maximum length that I can get by the end of this loop. So by the end of it, my power would be 3, power value would be 3, but as we have just seen that the maximum power that it would take would be length minus 1, so I'm just decrementing it at this step. So my power value will now become 2. Okay, so that's the maximum power that it can take in this linked list. So when I'm multiplying the first node value, I'm multiplying it with 2 power 2, right? So that's the whole idea here until now. And now I'm again taking my temp I'm taking my temp variable pointing at the first node, which is head. So let me change the color again. uh, Now my temp would be like pointing out at the first node. So what I'm trying to do is, while there is any node that my temp is pointing to, I am taking its value and I'm multiplying it with 2 to the power of current power, right? So which is 2 to the power of 2 in this case, in the first case. So I'll be multiplying 1 into 2 power 2, right, which would be nothing but 4, and I'm storing this entire thing in the decimal value. Okay, so initially decimal val is equals to 0, so I'm adding 4 in the decimal to the decimal value. So my decimal val is now 4, and I'm decrementing the power. So now here I can, like, multiply it with 2 to the power of 1. So once I decrement the power, my power will now become 1, and I'm just incrementing my pointing my temp to the next variable, which is this node in this case, and I've checked again the while loop. So yes, there is another node, so I'm just multiplying the 0 with 2 to the power of 1, which will result me 0. So I'm just adding 0 to it, and then I'm again doing the same thing. So my power will now be 0, current power value, and I'm just moving my temp variable to the next node. Okay, once that is done, I'm again checking if there is any node my temp is pointing to. Yes, my temp is pointing to the last node, so I'm multiplying the last node's value with 2 to the power of current power, that is 2 to the power of 0. Okay, so it would be 1 into 2 to the power of 0, that is 1 into 1, that is equals to 1. So I'm just adding this 1 value here, and I'm just decrementing my power again. So my power will be -1 now, and my temp value would be temp pointing to a null value, since there is no more node left. So this loop will be like, the pointer, the control will come out of this loop, and I'm just returning my decimal value, which is nothing but 4 plus 1, which is 5. So that's the entire code, guys. And the time complexity would be order of n, since we are traversing through the entire loop, that is twice, right? Not the loop, the entire linked list. We are traversing through the entire linked list twice, so our time complexity would be order of n. And since we are not using any extra space, just some constant variables, right? So my space complexity would be constant space, that is order of 1. So that's the time and space complexities. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. That keeps me motivating to make more videos. So thank you so much.